Producing over 500 hours per week of talk radio, GCN Live is a world leader in talk radio. Archives for the following program can be found at gcnlive.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
I'm not a crook.
If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
You're listening to Jim Paris Live, your source for the latest news on money, politics, prophecy, and preparedness. And now your host, the editor-in-chief of ChristianMoney.com and the author of more than 30 books, Jim Paris.
All right, welcome to hour number 2 of the broadcast. Of course, we are live on Sunday nights. We will open up the lines for phone calls later in the hour, also questions by email. This hour, we're going to talk all about digital currency, mostly about Bitcoin, but we'll get into some others as well. And my guest is someone, if you're in the Bitcoin world, you know this guy. His name is Roger Ver, and he's involved with startups of Bitcoin-type businesses, digital currency, venture capitalizing, all kinds of things. He lives overseas, does a lot of traveling, and he's with us tonight for the hour. Roger, good to have you with us, sir.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
Am I pronouncing your last name correctly? Is it Roger Ver? Is that right?
That's just fine.
Okay, close enough. All right. So for our listeners that don't know who you are, I wanted to get a little bit of background on you. I did some reading on you today, and I was waiting. After I read all about you, I thought, when is the movie coming out? Over at Wikipedia, it says at one point you had renounced your citizenship, and then you got your citizenship back, and that you live in Japan. And I'm thinking, this guy's like a financial James Bond. Tell us a little bit about you, and if any of that is not true, please correct me.
Yeah, my life certainly has not been boring up to this point. I was born in California, grew up in Silicon Valley, started a tech business there, and then 10 years ago I moved to Japan, and I've been living there as my home base ever since. And about 2 years ago, I renounced my U.S. citizenship, but philosophically I don't really believe in the concept at all. I think we're all human beings. We should be we're on this, rock flying around through space. I don't think we should need permission from politicians to travel about the planet. But that's maybe a whole other show, I suppose.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. So tonight you're joining us from Japan, that is?
Actually, I'm in St. Kitts, which is a country in the Caribbean where I have citizenship right now, and I've been spending the winter there for the last 3 years. And
okay.
I'll head back to Japan sometime in March.
Wow, very, very good. So your whole foray into Bitcoin, I'm assuming the reason why you're this super rich guy and travel and live in various exotic places, did you get in on Bitcoin very early on? Are you one of these guys that got it when it was below a penny, and that's how you have all this money now?
I did get in on Bitcoin early, but I actually earned my money previous to that with a company called MemoryDealers.com, which was a company in Silicon Valley selling networking equipment that I did for the 15 years before I discovered Bitcoin. Okay,
but today, in today's life for Roger Ver, you are full-time, as they call you on the internet here, Bitcoin Jesus. So this is your 24/7, you live, sleep, and breathe the world of Bitcoin, or do you have other ventures that you're pursuing as well?
No, for over 5 years now, pretty much every waking moment's been devoted to Bitcoin stuff. I didn't choose the name Bitcoin Jesus for myself. Other people just started calling me that because of my enthusiasm for telling people about what an amazing invention this is that's going to benefit all of humanity. And I'm more than happy to tell you and your listeners about some of those exciting things tonight as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have mostly Christians listening. So for those that are offended by that term, my apologies. That's what people call him. And the reason they call him that is he has all kinds of great strategies and information that you can use to actually start using digital currency. And a lot of this information, frankly, it's explained in a way that the average person can really understand it. And that's what's important, Roger. So many times what I think people believe believe is that Bitcoin is only for the super tech savvy type person, but now we're finding the average person starting to use Bitcoin, and even in some of the underdeveloped countries, we're seeing people using Bitcoin. Do you think Bitcoin will become mainstream, say in the next 3 to 5 years, where everyone will look at that maybe as simple as using $1 out of your wallet?
Yeah, and I'm old enough to remember when people thought using the internet was, kooky and extreme, and only, computer nerds would ever use the internet. And now it's just a part of everybody's life, just about everywhere on the planet. And I think digital currencies for sure, and probably Bitcoin are headed that way as well.
All right. Now, we've got a break coming up here in a couple of minutes. And so I want to kind of get to one thing before that. And then when we come back, we're going to get into the whole Amazon.com strategy, also how to save money at Starbucks, some of these money-saving ideas, which are so fantastic. But I wanted to ask you, do you think that we've kind of cleared the hurdle as far as the Bitcoin scandals and scams and even some well-meaning organizations that just didn't make it to where they kind of tainted the name of Bitcoin? I mean, do you think we're going to see any more exchanges failing or any, FBI probes where hundreds of people get arrested? Are we beyond those days of Bitcoin?
No, I don't think we'll ever be beyond those days, just like we're not beyond those days with dollars. You hear about, Mexican drug lords getting arrested with, the $100 million worth of cash stashed in their basement. So the more popular Bitcoin becomes, the more things like that will be going on. But there's even more of those things going on with the dollar today because the dollar is even more popular than Bitcoin. So I don't think that's going to stop.
And one of the reasons I would suppose people would want to follow you on Twitter and your website and all that is you've kind of done some vetting to tell us what some of the best places are to go to use different wallets and services. And these are trusted organizations that you have checked out. Is that right?
Sure. In fact, recently I've been spending most of my time on a website called Bitcoin.com. And it's important that people understand that there is no official website for Bitcoin. Bitcoin.com is a fantastic domain name to promote Bitcoin things, but it doesn't run Bitcoin. I'm not in charge of Bitcoin, and neither is anybody else anywhere on the planet. So nobody's in charge of Bitcoin, and nobody can stop Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's one of the strange things about Bitcoin is there is like no Bitcoin 800 number you can call to talk to somebody if you have an issue with, because we have recommended digital currency now, for many years here at christianmoney.com, and we'll get emails from people saying they're locked out of their wallet and they want us to do something for them, and they originally heard about it through me, so they think somehow I'm going to like call up the head guy at Bitcoin to solve their problem. So part of the benefit, I guess, is also part of the problem that you have to take ownership of things like your wallet login and things along those lines. And also the scammers who can steal your Bitcoin if you're not careful. And there's nobody to really call to get help. Is that right?
Yeah, but that's not really any different than the dollar or things like that. All the time you get, scammers overseas emailing you wanting your bank details or for you to send them money. So just use common sense. And if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. And don't send money to strangers over the internet, and don't send them Bitcoins either.
Yeah, absolutely. I love your comparison because you don't hear people saying that. The Silk Road, Bitcoin, all the drug dealing. Well, it wasn't all drug dealing. There were other things going on there. But look, people use the dollar as the world currency of drug dealing. So I like that comparison because it sort of does poke a hole in the hypocrisy that people have who are against Bitcoin. But before we hit this first break, so you would say that if somebody wanted to just learn, like, look, I know nothing about Bitcoin, I want to get sort of a primer, an introduction to Bitcoin, and maybe even learn how to put a few dollars into it, you're saying the website is bitcoin.com. What will they find there?
Yep, you'll find all sorts of free wallets over there, which is basically software that's used to control Bitcoin and own Bitcoin. And then there's links on where you can buy Bitcoin and where you can spend Bitcoin, and you can ask questions of other people, and there's a forum and live chat and all sorts of things over there. So it's a great place to get started.
And what too people will find is you can even buy Bitcoin through ATMs now. I saw an article over the weekend about all the ATMs that are now popping up where you can actually, do these work, Roger, where you just go to an ATM and you can put in dollars and then you own Bitcoin? Am I oversimplifying it?
No, it's exactly that simple. You slide in dollars into the ATM machine, and then you hold up your smartphone for the ATM machine to be able to take a picture of a QR code that's displayed on your phone, and the ATM machine will send the Bitcoins right to your phone. Or lots of the ATM machines can go in the other direction. You send Bitcoin.
Wow, so you can convert money back too. Very, very interesting. All right, when we come back from the break, we'll be talking more about Bitcoin with our special guest, Bitcoin Jesus, as he's called, Roger Ver. Stay tuned. Hello, everybody. This is radio talk show host Jim Paris for FreeSurvivalGifts.com. If you're a survival buff like me and like to try out the latest survival gear and gadgets, then you're going to absolutely love FreeSurvivalGifts.com. At FreeSurvivalGifts.com, you will find a wide array of survival gear, books, and videos that are all 100% free. That's right, just pay your own shipping. Now, I know you're asking, why is all of this survival gear free? Well, the companies offering this gear are doing so as a way to promote their brand and introduce new products. Check it out today, FreeSurvivalGifts.com. Pick up one or more free survival items for you and your family. That website again is FreeSurvivalGifts.com. Check it out, FreeSurvivalGifts.com.
Winter has just begun, and are you already tired of being cold? How would you like to never be cold again? This is Dale with Fortress Clothing, and I'm here to tell you, you will never be cold again with Fortress. If you're tired of freezing your butt off, elk hunting, sitting in a tree stand deer hunting, winter camping, fishing, ice fishing, no longer fear the cold. If you snowmobile, ski, snowboard, get Fortress. Sledding with the kids, shoveling the walks, shopping, or if you or your spouse get cold feet at home, get Fortress. If you're stuck outside working in the cold or find yourself in an emergency situation, get our winter bug out bag and you will never be cold again. Fortress is the answer, so quit complaining and go to FortressClothing.com. It's a mid-layer garment that goes with anything you want to wear. Enter coupon code RADIO and get 20% off any item. Go now while we still have inventory. FortressClothing.com.
Today, more than ever, it's imperative that you protect your digital privacy. EDEC Digital Forensics Signal Blocking Anti-Radiation Anti-Surveillance Faraday Bags shield the contents of your phones, tablets, and key fobs from 4G, Wi-Fi, GPS, Bluetooth, NFC, and more. Find us at edecdf.com/radio or call us now at 805-222-4584. That's 805-222-4584. Radio listeners get 20% off your order.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
My dad was 59 when he collapsed from a heart attack late last year. Just this past August was when we spread his ashes on the St. Croix River. I loved my dad, but boy was he stubborn. He hadn't been to the doctor in over 25 years. His excuse? He simply couldn't afford it. He wasn't a rich man by any means. At less than $107 per month, LibertyOnCall.org would have been the perfect alternative for my father. Don't wait. Go to LibertyOnCall.org right now, for not just your sake, but for the sake of your loved ones. Again, that's LibertyOnCall.org.
You are listening to Jim Paris Live.
Okay, you can find his website here, rogerver.com. Roger and then ver.com. And if you want to find him on Twitter, it is rogerkver. Roger Kaver, at Roger Kaver is the Twitter handle. And I've got him also, I messaged him a couple of times on my Twitter feed. So if you want to find his Twitter feed to follow that, you can go to at James L. Paris. You'll find where I replied to him, but he is at Roger Kaver if you want to find him over on Twitter as well. All right, so let's get into some of these strategies, Roger. The one that I heard you talking about a few days ago on a podcast was the idea that you could actually use Bitcoin to buy products on Amazon, saving 20 to 30% on everything. And I did some reading on this. And the first thing that threw me was that Amazon doesn't take Bitcoin, but then you had pointed out that there's sort of a middleman site that you go to, which is purse.io. Tell us how this works and how and why you can save so much using Bitcoin instead of dollars.
So what's going on is Amazon actually has a lot more than the shopping website that everyone's familiar with. One of their other businesses is called Amazon Mechanical Turk. And what that does is it allows people all over the world to do work online for various employers that want to hire them. So, for example, if someone has a company in New York or San Francisco or London where the wages are very high, they can pay people in a part of the world where the wages are much lower to help them with work on something online. And Amazon provides this wonderful platform to allow all of this to happen. But in a lot of those countries, the only way that Amazon is allowed to pay those people is in Amazon.com store credit. So, for example, a bunch of these people in India are doing this work, but they wind up with a whole bunch of Amazon.com store credit. It's not very useful to them in India because maybe the shipping fees would be a couple $100s to get anything there. So what happens is this other website that you mentioned, www.purse.io, acts as an escrow agent. And you go over to Amazon just like you would normally, but instead of hitting the buy it now button or add to my shopping cart button, you click the add to my wish list button. And then you go over to this other website, purse.io, and enter the URL for your wish list. And this person in some other country around the world will use their Amazon.com store credit to buy whatever it is that you want from Amazon. Amazon ships it directly to you, just like normally if you had bought it direct from Amazon. Once you receive the goods, you notify the website that, okay, I got everything's fine, and they release the Bitcoins to the person in the foreign country. And when the people launched this website initially, their initial intent was just to make an easy way for people to spend Bitcoins on Amazon and for people to buy Bitcoins with a credit card. And their initial intent was just to allow people to buy whatever you wanted from Amazon with their credit card, and then you would get the Bitcoins. And to their surprise, this whole other market popped up, and these people were willing to sell their Amazon store credit at a substantial discount. 20, 30% is the average over there. So earlier today, even I was buying some different computer parts, and I saved. I think I saved 35% on an uninterruptible power supply earlier tonight by paying in Bitcoin using Purse.io, and it's going to ship to me direct from Amazon. So even if you're not interested in the tech or the philosophical ramifications or the economic ramifications or the political ramifications of Bitcoin, if you can save 30% on every single purchase from Amazon.com by using Bitcoin with almost no extra work compared to shopping at Amazon normally, that should be an incredibly powerful reason and useful reason for you to start using Bitcoin. And Bitcoin.com has all the information and links on how to do that.
So what you're saying is, let's say I needed to purchase something that's $1,000 on Amazon. Even if I'm not someone that is all that interested in Bitcoin, I could purchase enough Bitcoin just for that transaction. I could then pay in Bitcoin to buy this item and maybe buy this $1,000 item for $700-800. And just by running my dollars through Bitcoin as the transaction medium, I'm able to save that much money. Is it that simple?
It's that simple. It's that easy, and that's exactly right. So, for example, I just recently bought a PlayStation 4. The normal price is $400. I paid like $285 for it worth of Bitcoin. And so what you can do is, let's say you don't have any Bitcoin today. I'm sure lots of your listeners don't own any Bitcoin. If you go over to Bitcoin.com, there's links to where you can buy Bitcoin in whatever country you're at in the world. You can buy Bitcoin for somewhere between no fee to a 1% fee on the high end. So if it costs you 1% to buy the Bitcoins, let's say, but you can save 30% on your purchase from Amazon. That's an incredible deal, and that's an incredible reason to start using Bitcoin. So if you were thinking about making, maybe buying a new TV or some new big purchase on Amazon, it's worth it to go and buy some Bitcoins and go through this website called purse.io, which is linked up on bitcoin.com as well if you can't remember all of these, if you're in the car and you can't take notes. But all the information's there, and you can save literally hundreds of dollars on every single purchase, depending on the price of the item that you're buying. So.
Now, does the discount vary based on the size of the purchase? In other words, does this idea of the 20 to 30% savings, does it scale? Like, for example, if it's $1,000 item, is the discount that percentage still, or does it seem to go down as the dollar volume is higher?
So I've used this website a lot myself, and so from my own personal experience, it seems like the more expensive the item, the lower the discount rate that you should ask for. You can ask for whatever discount you want, up to 50%. Wow. And if you're ordering something that's, maybe $10, a lot of times you can get a 50% discount. I found if you're ordering items in, the $100 to $500 range, you can get 25 to 30% really regularly. And, maybe $1,000 and above, you're looking at maybe you can get a 22, 23, 24% discount. If you want to make sure your order gets filled right away, within an hour or so, ask for a 22% discount or a 20% discount, and boom, your order will get filled right away.
Okay, now you're using a term. My background is in money management and financial planning, and I was a money manager and stockbroker. So this is like a bid-ask type of environment you're talking about, where I can go up there and say, oh, I want a 25% discount on this, PlayStation 4, whatever it is. I don't know what these games are. I don't play the games my kids do, but I can just pick my own discount. And if I'm not too greedy, you're saying my order will be filled more quickly because the people on the other side of the transaction are looking at what discounts are available for them too. So they're trying to get the best deal for themselves. So I've got to be careful to kind of be competitive, but I can pick my own. And if I want to be reasonable, I can get my order filled, like you said, right away.
Right. There's actually an entire order book over there. So for the people that have a bunch of Amazon store credit that they're looking to convert to Bitcoins, they can look at the entire order book and they can see the discount rate.
Wow. So you can see the whole order book and everything.
Right. Yeah. The whole thing's transparent there. You can make an account and log in and you can see everything, and you can see the discount rate that the people are asking for, and then the total dollar amount of the order. So it's really interesting, actually.
Yeah.
And you can see the country around the world.
I was thinking you could almost start like a business if you can buy things at these kinds of a discount, this level of a discount. You could sell it on eBay. I mean, has anybody ever thought of that?
Yeah, lots of people are actually doing that. And one of the most clever things that some people are doing is they're selling the items. You can list your own items on Amazon, and they're using this other website to fulfill the orders when they get it.
Wow. Because you're getting 20, 30% off, you could turn around and sell it and pocket the difference. Fascinating information. We come back from this break, how you can save 20% every single time you go to Starbucks. Wow, that sounds cool. We'll have that right after this.
Removing bad taste and odor from your drinking water is easy. Removing the bad stuff you don't taste is what ProPure does best. Water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure countertop, inline, gravity, and household water filtration products. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com. Or call 800-544-3533.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
You haven't experienced yogurt until you've tried a Mossy, embodying health and flavor in a true whole milk, green-fed dairy beverage. Every sip pays homage to our old world cows and the ancient culturing methods their milk benefits from. With over 30 probiotics, a Mossy's undeniably nutritious, refined, cultured sensation bolsters your health and awakens your passion for dairy. A Mossy's so good, and you need to try it. Contact your Longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your Longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
You're listening to Jim Paris Live.
All right, we are back, and we are already flooded with email questions. Our regular listeners know the drill. You send the email to jim@christianmoney.com, jim@christianmoney.com. Put in the subject line your city, and then we take the questions in order that they come in. If I'm interested in your question, I don't pick every question because some of them are frankly just not good questions. But you go to the head of the line if you call in. And here's the call-in number, which means you can get on the air right away and talk to our special guest, Roger Ver, with your question about Bitcoin, digital currency, any of that. 877-317-6432, 877-317-6432. And if you're listening live on a Sunday night, this is your chance to call in. If you're listening on the iTunes download, not so much. 877-317-6432 is the number to dial. All right, one more follow-up on this Purse.io deal. What would stop the scenario, Roger, of me losing my Bitcoin to this person in the third world country, and then I never get my item? Is that what Purse.io does? Is they sort of act like an escrow agent to make sure that it all works out?
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're acting as the escrow, and they hold the Bitcoins until you physically receive the goods from Amazon. So, and it's not until you physically receive the goods and they're delivered at your doorstep that you go back and notify Purse.io for them to release the Bitcoins to this person in some other country. So you're completely safe the entire time as a user.
And do I have to buy a membership into Purse.io? How do I pay them?
Nope. So the way it works is, let's say you request a 35% discount. You'll actually wind up receiving like a 32% discount or something like that, and Purse keeps the other 3%.
So they're working on a spread. This is just like the stock market. It's buying stuff on Amazon as if it were the stock market. Very, very cool. All right. Before we get to questions here, let's talk about Starbucks. I live at Starbucks. In fact, I'm at Starbucks more than my own home. That's how sad my life is these days. But in any case, you're telling us we can get a 20% discount every time we go to Starbucks by using Bitcoin. Does Starbucks accept Bitcoin? How does this work?
So it actually works really similar to the way the other website with Amazon works. This company called foldapp.com, and again, that's linked on bitcoin.com. You can find it from there. They have one website where they're set up, and they will buy anybody's Starbucks gift card. And they will buy your Starbucks gift cards that I think they probably pay like a 50% discount. So they give you 50 cents on the dollar for that. So if you wound up with Starbucks gift cards from, your credit card points, or your company gave them out as Christmas gifts to everybody, or whatever reason you have Starbucks gift cards and you don't want them, you can sell them to this company and they buy them at a 50% discount. But what they wind up doing is they've integrated into a number of Bitcoin wallets, and there's a web app there as well, where you can buy a Starbucks gift card instantly while you're waiting in line at the Starbucks for a 20% discount. So you pay $8 and you get $10 worth of Starbucks store credit, or you pay $20 worth of Bitcoin and you get $25 worth of Starbucks store credit. And it takes literally, less than 30 seconds to do this. You can literally do it while you're waiting in line at the Starbucks, and it works at every single Starbucks in the entire United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, Hong Kong, Macau, and a bunch of other countries as well.
Wow. So if I have the Starbucks app on my phone, which is what I do, I know there's a way I can add a Starbucks gift card credit to my app. Is that all I'm doing? Is I'm just, after I buy the gift card, now the gift card is now on my phone and I'm using that for the purchase?
Yeah, it's not in the Starbucks app itself, but there's a web app, or there's another Bitcoin wallet called Airbits that has it built right in, and this is all linked on bitcoin.com. And there's also a bunch of videos on YouTube where you can see people using it at Starbucks, and they're so excited because it's not every day you can have a 20% discount at Starbucks on every single purchase at every single Starbucks for, everywhere. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, really, really neat. All right. The questions are flowing in, so I've got to get to these questions here. And by the way, exciting to note that our guest tonight is joining us from the Caribbean island of St. Kitts. Don't you love the internet? It sounds like he's in the same room with me here, connecting to us by way of Skype. All right, so this is coming in from Chicago. This is a good question. I did not think of this. This is why we have such smart listeners. They want to know what the legality is of the Amazon discount strategy. They add here, could this be considered money laundering? Good question. Like, could the person I'm sending the money to simply want to be anonymous as far as receiving Bitcoin, and they're sort of running their money through Amazon in this way? Could I be in trouble as the guy that's just trying to save some money on an Amazon product?
At the end of the day, governments do whatever they want to everybody, but I don't think there's any problem with the current setup and the current laws that we have today. It's basically no different than you making a wish list for a wedding registry or your birthday or anything else, and then somebody going and buying it for you. So, and the company behind this has received a substantial amount of venture capital funding. There's a bunch of quality people behind it, so I don't think you'll run into any problems.
Okay, so this Purse.io, I mean, they're a big reputable company if they've got venture capital funding, and they're based where? In the U.S. here somewhere?
Yep, they're based right in San Francisco.
Okay, very good. And I'm sure if there's venture capital money, that means regulators are all over it. So at least we're safe for now. All right. From Chicago, one of our regular listeners, Dan, wants to know, do you think Bitcoin will hit $1 million? We heard this from, I believe it was Max Kaiser, and others that sort of picked the number $1 million for one Bitcoin. Roger, have you ever made predictions like this? And do you buy into this $1 million Bitcoin idea?
Well, it's certainly within the realm of possibility that it could go as high as $1 million per Bitcoin. And the reason for that is, unlike the US dollar or the euro or the yen, the supply of Bitcoin is mathematically limited to 21 million Bitcoins. There will never, ever, ever be more than 21 million Bitcoins. And for example, my hometown at this point of Tokyo, Japan, there's 35 million people in the Tokyo metropolitan area. There's not even enough for everybody in Tokyo to have one Bitcoin. Yet this is money that's winding up being used all over the world. So in my time being involved in Bitcoin, I watched Bitcoin go from less than $1 to briefly over $1,000 to around $400 where it is today. And if you do the math, it's well within the realm of possibility that Bitcoin could go up another 1,000 times from where it is now. It's already gone up 400 times from where it was when I first heard about it. And, if it goes up 1,000 times, you're looking at about $400,000 of Bitcoin, and 2,000 times from where it is now. That's within the realm of possibility too. But there's a long way before that happens. But when you hear about things like you can save 20% at Starbucks or 30% at Amazon, or you can send and receive any amount of money with anyone anywhere in the world almost for free, that's a pretty darn compelling use case, especially when you consider you don't have to sign up for, I don't know if anybody's tried opening a bank account recently, but the forms are just getting longer and longer and more ridiculous.
Yeah, they want to take a blood sample now from you when you open a bank account. It's getting crazy. Now, what about the competitors, though, to Bitcoin? I was reading just the other day that Bank of America is in right now in R&D to create their own digital currency. There are others, and I've even got a question here from Dallas, Texas. They want to know about Ripple XRP, and I had read earlier in your bio that you actually were a venture capital funder of Ripple. What about Ripple XRP and some of these other competitors? Does that help or hurt Bitcoin's future prospects that there are others trying to be the Bitcoin of the day?
Yeah, so there's, as you mentioned, there's a lot of other, competitors or kind of copycats out there. But Bitcoin has, probably more than 10 million users around the world. There's tens of thousands of software developers working on Bitcoin every day. There's probably more developers working on Bitcoin than developers that are working on all these other Bitcoin-related competitors combined. So I think at this point, Bitcoin definitely has the early lead and by a huge margin. But you never know. Everybody thought MySpace was going to be the end-all, be-all of social networks. Now,
that's for sure. Who even uses this? Do people still use MySpace? You're a younger man than me. Is it still?
No, I don't think anybody uses it.
Okay.
It's possible that could happen with Bitcoin, but I think it's pretty darn unlikely.
Yeah.
I'm not selling any of my Bitcoin. In fact, I'm trying to accumulate more.
Good comparison. And when we come back from the break, I do want to get a little bit more of an elaborate answer on this Ripple XRP, which I'm fascinated by. We'll get that right after this. Stay tuned. Hi, this is radio talk show host Jim Paris. And if you are like me, you hate all of those monthly bills. Well, I reached the point about 3 years ago that I decided enough was enough, and I went to war with my personal stack of monthly bills. I canceled cable TV and legally connected my television to the internet, and now I get hundreds of free TV channels, and I don't pay for cable TV. I found a little-known way of getting free home phone service for life, and I discovered a totally legal way to opt out of Obamacare and cut my health insurance bill by more than 60% per year. If you want to learn more about my personal war on monthly bills, check out my website, ChristianMoneyPlus.com. That's ChristianMoneyPlus.com. If you're just plain sick and tired of those monthly bills, check out my website, ChristianMoneyPlus.com.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
You are listening to Jim Paris Live.
Okay, so for those of you that go to the website frequently, christianmoney.com, you're going to see a big article on this. I am going to do, by Friday of this week, there's going to be a huge article about the interview tonight with Roger Ver, and we're going to have links to all of these websites. Of course, this show will be up on YouTube, iTunes, GodTube, all those places that we normally have it over on SoundCloud, all those places. But we're also going to have a big article too. But I want to read some of these website addresses again quickly. Purse.io. That's where you do the Amazon discount strategy. Then foldapp.com. That's for Starbucks. And then, of course, the main website, bitcoin.com, to learn about all this stuff, videos, a lot of good information there. Buy.bitcoin.com to buy Bitcoins. That's buy.bitcoin.com. And then to set up a Bitcoin wallet, which, as Roger said, is a software program that actually holds your virtual currency for you. Wallet.bitcoin.com. Wallet.bitcoin.com. Roger, I actually do own some Ripple XRP. I'm kind of one of those people, I'm buying a little bit of different currencies because who knows what's going to happen. Ripple, though, it's interesting. I see so many good articles about the platform and their technology, but I don't really see the currency doing that much, the Ripple XRP. What are your thoughts on it? Are you bullish on it? Do you like the idea of buying a lot of these currencies just so you have a little bit in the game just in case?
Yeah, and it's always good advice never to put all your eggs in one basket. I actually put up the seed money to start Ripple a number of years ago. But at the time, we weren't really sure what Ripple was going to be. The idea behind the creation of it there was that it was going to be Bitcoin, but without the mining aspect of it. But one real interesting quote directly from the creator of Ripple himself, he said, "It's just a matter of time until Bitcoin can do everything that Ripple can do." And he said that a couple of years ago, and I think we're getting pretty close to that. But Ripple's been, doing amazing as far as signing deals with big traditional banks and big giant traditional financial institutions. So maybe they'll have some success there. But the currency itself has definitely floundered as far as pricing goes. And there's a heck of a lot more Ripples, which are called XRP as their currency, in existence than Bitcoin. And Bitcoin and XRP and gold and everything else, the price is set by supply and demand. And if there's a huge supply of something, even if the demand is, moderate, the price isn't really going to go up that much. Whereas Bitcoin is limited to 21 million, and when people hear about 20% off at Starbucks, that creates a pretty big demand.
Yeah, so if somebody had Ripple XRP, there's probably a way they can convert it over to Bitcoin if they kind of read the tea leaves like you just said and think, well, maybe this isn't where I want to be. You can always go back into Bitcoin with your Ripple XRP. Isn't that right?
Yeah, there's actually a really cool website called www.shapeshift.io that lets you convert any cryptocurrency into any other cryptocurrency instantly. There's no sign-up process. You don't have to give your name or email or tax ID number. You just send them, you tell them what cryptocurrency you want, and you send them the cryptocurrency you have, and boom, they take yours and you get theirs, and everybody's happy, and it's just like magic, and it makes you realize, why would I ever want to use a bank or a credit card or PayPal ever again when it can be this easy?
Well, Shapeshift, and there aren't any reptilians running it, so don't worry, folks.
No reptilians.
No David Icke involved in that deal. All right, I love this question from Los Angeles because this is a question I have. They're saying here they love Bitcoin, they're excited about it, they tell everybody they know about it. How they want to know what can they do to make it into a business for themselves? What kind of a business opportunity is there for a person to, let's say you want to do this as a part-time business from home to supplement your income. Is there a business opportunity side to Bitcoin for someone who's just a small player? Maybe they don't have the millions and millions of dollars to set up like an exchange or whatever. Is there any kind of small-time business model that you could recommend to people?
Yeah, I have two what I think are pretty good ideas for that sort of thing. The first one is just go use purse.io, this website with Amazon we've been talking about, and figure out what some popular items are. So whether it's PlayStations or iPads or iPhones or something like that, and go and buy them for 25 or 30% less than Amazon, and then list them on your local Craigslist or eBay or your local bulletin board, and say, hey, brand new iPad, the Apple Store price is this price. I'll sell it to you at this much less than that, and tell people, hey, I'll include the receipt and everything else that's completely legitimate, because the biggest fear people have is like, how can you sell something brand new in the box for cheaper than them?
Right.
Right. As we've been explaining, it's all completely legitimate, but and you can tell them, hey, I'll give, because when you receive the product, you get a receipt from Amazon for it, just like normal. So you can even include the receipts from Amazon when you give the products to these people. But let's say a PlayStation 4 is $400 normally. You can buy it for $300. Really easily using Bitcoins and purse.io. Turn around and sell it on your local Craigslist for $375, and you'll make $75 on every single one you sell, just like that. Another, I think, really cool idea is if you or somebody has maybe, I don't think Starbucks is too friendly, but I've never seen an ATM inside of Starbucks, but if somebody has a business really close to a Starbucks, you can buy one of these Bitcoin ATM machines for around $5,000 or $6,000. And you can put, a big sign up there that says, use this machine to save 10% at Starbucks. And then you can sell the Bitcoins at maybe 10% over the price value. People can use the Bitcoins then to buy their gift cards that saves 20% at Starbucks. So you earn 10%, they save 10%. Everybody's super happy all along the way right there. And it's not, a huge capital outlay to be able to do that.
Yeah, well, you could even, I imagine you could get into any number of local businesses. Like if you put up the $5,000 or $6,000 for the Bitcoin ATM, you could probably find a local restaurant owner or a bar owner or someone, that has a business that's frequented by the public, maybe a smaller coffee shop, not necessarily a Starbucks, but that they would be willing to let you put that Bitcoin ATM in there. And imagine the good publicity they'd get, like you'd be the first one in town with a Bitcoin ATM in your business, and you could work some kind of a deal out. So if you own the Bitcoin ATM, I imagine you would make money like as a percentage of the transactions that are occurring on that. Is that how that would work?
Right. So let's say to make the math easy, let's say Bitcoins were $100 each. Your Bitcoin ATM machine would sell them for maybe $104 each or $108 each or whatever rate over the spot price that you want to set it for. And I've seen, some of the statistics for these Bitcoin ATM machines. Some of the ones that are in popular locations sell several $100,000 worth of Bitcoins in a single month. So even if you're just charging, 4% over the spot price, if you're selling a couple $100,000 worth of Bitcoins, that's a really good profit each month.
And do people actually, on these you're describing right now, these $5,000 to $6,000 ones, do people actually feed U.S. dollars into those, or is there, like, do they use a credit card? I'm imagining like Brinks having to come and remove the money out of something like that. Is this actually dealing with physical currency?
This is dealing with physical currency, so you'll either have to empty the cash out of them yourself, or you can hire a company that'll actually go around and do that for you. And it's pretty amazing how reasonable the companies that do that are as far as the price that they charge. And it's amazing how much cash go in and out of these machines. So in Japan, where I've been living for the last 10 years, the money laundering laws are very different than the U.S., and cash is much more common. But I remember when one of the Bitcoin ATM machines opened in Tokyo recently, at the grand opening party, one guy brought with him the U.S. dollar equivalent of about 200,000 U.S. dollars worth of Japanese yen, and just started feeding it into the machine. He wanted his Bitcoins. So.
That's incredible. Wow. All right. This will be our last question from Jacksonville, Florida. They want to know what the tax consequences are of buying and selling Bitcoin. And, I know the IRS has weighed in on this, but is it really similar to like if you buy a stock for $50 and you sell it for $100, you've got a $50 gain? Is there anything unique that would make Bitcoin any different than any other capital asset that's being bought or sold?
Yeah, I think you'll have to consult a tax expert on that. But my point of view is that I've never met those people. I don't know why they should have any say in our lives whatsoever.
Okay, fair enough. And I know there's a lot of information about Bitcoin taxation out there. Maybe even people would find that over at bitcoin.com as well. All right, so we've covered all the websites. And then your personal website is rogerver.com, and that's V as in Victor, E Edward, R Robert, rogerver.com. Twitter is at Roger K. Ver. And any other websites or contact information you'd like to give out, sir?
No, I'm sure Bitcoin.com is a heck of a lot more interesting than my personal website. So Bitcoin.com to learn all about Bitcoin and how you can save a fortune on all your purchases from Amazon or Starbucks.
All right, fantastic. So good to have you with us, and we'll definitely have you back as Bitcoin goes up in value. I own some Bitcoin, so I sure hope your idea of $1 million Bitcoin, I hope that turns out to be right, because that will make my wife very happy. All right, folks, we wrap up another show. Remember, next week, no live program because it is the Super Bowl, so we will have a replay for you. And remember, if it's Sunday night, it is Jim Paris Live. Hello, everybody. This is radio talk show host Jim Paris for FreeSurvivalGifts.com. If you're a survival buff like me and like to try out the latest survival gear and gadgets, then you're going to absolutely love FreeSurvivalGifts.com. At FreeSurvivalGifts.com, you will find a wide array of survival gear, books, and videos that are all 100% free. That's right, just pay your own shipping. Now, I know you're asking, why is all of this survival gear free? Well, the companies offering this gear are doing so as a way to promote their brand and introduce new products. Check it out today, FreeSurvivalGifts.com. Pick up one or more free survival items for you and your family. That website again is FreeSurvivalGifts.com. Check it out, FreeSurvivalGifts.com.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.